Yo, what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be doing Moee 1 from VulnHub. I rate this box about a solid hard. Overall, pretty good box. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so to get started, I'm actually going to be opening my terminal here. Let me just split my terminals here. So I'm going to start a net discover minus r 10.0.0.1/24/IET0. So I'm going to start running my mmap scan. So I'm going to do mmap minus sc minus sv minus sv. We'll scan all ports on the IP address. We'll do an IP address for VMware as 10.0.0.45. I'm going to run a banner grab on here. So I'm going to do netcat minus nv on port 80. So we do know that HTTP is open. Here, so under here, for this to work, we actually need to go under our /etc host. So you can go vi into /etc host, and you see that we do have I do have Moee under 10.0.0.45, right? So I'm just going to quit out of that. Looking at that, we do see that this is running WordPress. It's running WordPress because it's powered by WordPress right here. Looking at the ports, we do have OpenSSH for port 22, and we also have port 80, right, for HTTP. So this is running WordPress as stated down here. We do have a login, which I'm pretty sure we can find right here. So let's try running a GoBuster, right? So let's run a GoBuster dir mode minus u HTTP. We'll do Moee. We'll do minus w. We'll use a user share word list dirbuster directory list 2.3 medium.txt. We'll specify the extensions as HTML, PHP, and we'll do txt, and also I'll do JS, right? Here we do find WP content index.php. We do have WP admin, which was this right here. The next thing I'm going to do is actually go under my documents. Okay, so we're going to go under my documents. Let's cd into WP scan. This is ran in Ruby, so I'm going to run this in Ruby. So there you go. The first thing I like doing is actually try by running a minus u option, which is or minus enumerate option, which lets us enumerate the users. So here I'm just going to change this to Moee, HTTP Moee. We'll enumerate the users there. We can press enter. Here we do get 4 users. Here we get user, snurfkin and snurfkin, joctor and bow, right? Basically the login and also the name, right? The username that we're going to be trying is we're going to be trying Jockster. Here we're going to try brute forcing. So for that to happen, we actually need to copy this. We're only going to be brute forcing on a certain username that we know that works. So for the username or for the word list, we're going to be using rocku.txt. So we can do user share word list rocku.txt, and for the username, we do have our we do have this username right here, right? We do need to specify the website. So we can do HTTP, we can do Moee, and we can do /, and we can press enter on that. From here, we're going to run a brute force scan under the WP admin, under that username, which was Joctor. Okay, so after a few attempts, 61 attempts, we do get a valid username and password. So this should be the password right here. So let's type this in and press enter, and we do get a login successful, right? So looking at the comments, you will see that we can actually upload a so we can view a post right here. You will see that we can actually view a we can actually upload, well, in the comment section, we can actually upload a file, right? So let's try uploading a file, right? So let me clear this. Let's go under my VulnHub. I'll just remove -r-mo. We'll do mkdir moee or moe. So we do have an empty directory, right? Here I'm actually going to be getting a PHP shell, so I'm just going to do PHP shell and test monkey. Looking at this, we can go to the repository here and try to wget the raw file. I'm just going to wget this. We do know that this is PHP, so let's actually change the credentials in here, or not the credentials, but our IP. So I'm just going to turn this into interactive mode, 10.0.023, which is my IP address, and also we'll run this on port 4444. So we can right quit out of that. We'll clear this. And to bypass the file upload in the comment section, we actually want to rename this to jpg.php or php.jpg, right? Or I think we can just upload this as jpg probably. I'm pretty sure we can just still upload this as jpg. Okay, so let's go under here, the comment section. We're going to be opening burp sweep here. So we can just click next. I'm going to set up my proxy here, so I do have, I'm going to put this on the specific address and make sure that's running. I do have Foxy proxy on, which is right here. Let me turn this off. So let's try uploading this. Let's go under my home, VulnHub. Let's go to Moee. We do have our php-shell.jpg. Let's go open. I'm going to be saying this to repeater. So looking at this, we do see that it is going to filter out the content type. There's two things I can filter. It can either filter out the extension or it can either filter out the content type, right? The content type, since it is JPG, we're going to leave it like that. We actually want this to execute in PHP, so we're going to change that to PHP. And another way to bypass it, we're actually going to be using, I think it's bypass file upload. We'll just do, was it hack tricks? Here we go. So if we go to this right here, you do see that we can use the GIF89A header. And we can actually implement this right here, right? So if we do go to, if we go back to burp, we do send this, you will see that the file is not allowed, right? Looking at this, we can just press enter, send this over here, and you do see that now the file was uploaded successfully as a 200, right? Looking at the URL, we do get a URL where we can actually execute that PHP code. We could curl this right now, but I don't think curl would like this right here, right? Or these the backslashes and forward slashes, right? We can just still execute it using. Actually, let's we'll paste that in right there, and let's start a listener actually. So we'll use all wrap netcap minus LMVP. We'll use on 4444. We can press enter on that. So we can press enter. It's not going to work, so we can actually go back to burp and copy this one right here. So, and this URL should work without trying to edit that, right? So we can just press enter. Looking back at our listener, we do get a shell, right? So we can export term equals extern, right? So we can clear this, and now we do have a shell, right? Let's check our ID. We are www data, so now we're going to spawn a TTY shell. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I get cramps on my fingers. Okay, so spawn our TTY shell here. So we do have our shell right here. We'll run this in bin bash. Run this in also Python 3 so we can clear this, right? So we are under just home, or just our main files. Let's go under var www. I believe this is a directory here. So we do have index.html.back file. So it's just a backup file here. Let's visit our public HTML. Let's do ls-la. We do have WP includes, and we also have WP admin. Let's check out our WP includes here. So let's cd into that ls. Let's try to check out our WP database.php. So looking at that, we can actually cat this out. Let's see if we can find a password rate. Looking up here. Alright, so since the buffer size is too big, we can actually just do a head. And we do get a username and password here, right? Using head, we get a username and password for MySQL. So just to check that MySQL is running, just to check, which it should, right? We can just use MySQL. I'll grep this out. Looking at this, we do have MySQL right there running on ports 3306 like usual, right? So for that to work, we do have the password. We're going to use mysql minus I believe it was u. We do have a password here, or the username right here. We're going to specify -p, and for the password, we do have a password here, so we can press enter, and now we do have a login successful for MySQL, right? Let's show the databases again. Let's go to useful things probably. So we'll use useful things, show tables. We do have user details, so we can do select. Let's see if I remember this. Select dot star from user underscore details. I spelled it right. There you go. From here we do have bow, stinky, sniff, and snork. We do have a paste bin, so let's try to open this link up right here. It does seem like this is a base 64, I believe. We can try to decode this. Base 64 minus D. I don't think these are even valid, but we do have a paste bin here. Looking at this paste bin, we do have a word list here, right, that we can probably use with Hydra to brute force for SSH, which is under Snork. We do have Snork as this, so let's try to just copy this right here. We should have a valid user as Snork, I believe. Let's try to X out of this. We'll do ls-la/home, and we just have bow and jockster, so it might be for one of these for SSH. We can test each one of those. Alright, sorry about that. My for some reason my OBS keeps stopping for some reason. It's probably because I need to update it. I haven't updated it since like 2 years ago, but so we do have a word list here, right here, that we can probably use for brute forcing for SSH. So let's try to, can I get the raw data of this? Seems like we can. So I'm actually just gonna go under my VulnHub. Pressing enter, we can, I'll just VI into word, make this into wordlist.txt. We can just right quit out of that. Make sure the words are in there. So we do have a word list now, right? So next I'm actually going to let me actually type this in inside the directory. So let me move this into move word list into Moee, right? CD into Moee. Okay, so now I'm going to cat word list. We're actually going to be piping this using aux, so we're actually going to be deleting the email, so we just have the passwords. So from there, we're just going to do, so I remember how to do this. Do print. And we can do this into passwords.txt. And we should have just the usernames, or I mean just the passwords, right? Did I do print 1? I did. Okay, yeah, so we use awk and f, alright. So now we do have that, right? So I'm going to be using Hydra. Let me move my mic. So I'm going to be using Hydra -L. So we do know that we only have 2 possible users, which is Joe and Jockster. Since we are only www data, it does show that we can use, there's a username called Snork, but these are the only 2 available usernames. So I'm going to be using Bo, right? So I'm going to use Hydra -L. We do have open SSH. So for the username, I'm just going to be using Bo. If I remember, we're going to be using, so this is under root, VulnHub, Moee, and we do have password.txt, right? I believe so. Yeah, I do have passwords.txt. Okay, so we're going to be using Hydra -L. We're going to be using the username, pass list. From here, I'm going to do -I. We're going to specify SSH. It's actually supposed to be the other way around. SSH 10.0.0.45. It's going to be running on port 22. We're going to do -I, and we'll also specify, I think that's it. We can press enter on that. And if both doesn't work, we can actually try Jockster. So we can just easily wait for this to finish and see if we get a valid password, right? Alright, so it doesn't seem like we're going to get any valid credentials using Bo. So I'm actually just going to control C out of that. Usually I'm going to be using -I so I don't restore the session again. But I'm going to be using Jockster. And we can try using that instead, since it's taking way too long for Bo, right? So I usually like waiting around 1 to 2 minutes. Usually that's how long a brute force takes. Alright, so after some time we do get a valid password for Jockster, and also we get a password, right? So here we're actually going to be just switching users as, well, actually I'm just going to X out of this. We get a persistent SSH connection. So I'm going to SSH into 10.0.0 or why is my caps not working? Jockster at 10.0.0.45, and we do have a password now, so we're going to type in yes. So let me just copy this, press enter on that, and we are Jockster now, right? Alright, so after doing a little bit of enumeration, if you do go under the /opt, you will see that we have a flag.py. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just echo a blank space into that file, so we don't have the contents anymore. So we can cat flag.py. We have nothing in there, right? So now I'm going to cat or vi into flag. So I made a script right here that gets us a reverse connection. Basically that's a one-liner, right? Just broken down into Python, right? So it's not just in one line. It is connecting back on my IP, and also my port is running a bin bash as a subprocess call, right? So the other tool we're going to be using is pspy, which is going to let us execute, if I do ls -la, it's going to let us execute this as, actually let me quit this. If I do ls -la, it's going to let us execute the flag.py as a Bo, right? So I'm going to vi into flag.py. I'm just going to be copying my shell right here. I'm just going to paste that in, just make sure everything's right. We do have my IP address, also my port, so I'm going to start a listener on here. So I'm going to do all rat netcat -lmvp. lmvp on port is running on 7777 or 7777. So I'm just going to right quit out of this and make sure this is ran in Python 3, the script that you have. I don't know if you want to program your own or use mine, but this would be mine right here. Just to test, or not to test, but just to get our connection back, we're going to do a PSPY64. Run that. I'm going to run my listener on here. And this should give us a connection back as Bo, right? Let me do alice-la/home. Yeah, we should get a connection back as Bo, right? And I noticed that the flag.py executes after every minute, so we should get a connection back. Oh, what the heck? I think I executed this wrong. I forgot my import actually. Let me run this one more time, and we should get a connection back. But this is only as Jockster, so let me just exit this out real quick. Alright, let me run this one more time again. Let me run my listener PSPY64. And we should get a connection back this time because I guess I didn't include my import socket subprocess, or I misspelled import, right? Alright, and after some time, if we do ID, we are under Bo now, right? So here I'm just going to do export term equals xterm. I'm going to clear the terminal. Now we should be able to clear. TTY shell. We're going to spawn this as bin bash. And I'm pretty sure there's Python 3 on here. And there is Python 3, so I'm just going to do ls. And now we do have a flag3.txt, so I'm going to cat our flag 3.txt. And we do have our third flag here, right? I believe there was another flag under home, I think. Yeah, which was flag2.txt. And this is our flag 2, right? And this is flag 3. So here we do have a binary, right? Alright, so I already do have my persistent SSH connection, so I'm actually going to show you guys how I imported my public key. So the first thing I'm going to do, since there is no .ssh directory, I'm just going to make a directory as .ssh. From here, I'm actually going to do ls-la. I'm just going to touch a authorize_keys file. From here, I'm actually going to make a, if I go under my .ssh on my local machine, I'm going to use Ssh Key Gen. I'm going to press enter. I'm going to overwrite the key phrase I have right now. I set no passwords on that. And for that to happen, I'm actually going to cat out my id_rsa.pub. I'm going to copy that under the authorized keys, right? So here I'm going to open my text editor. So let me just move this. Later on we're going to be needing this for the exploit. So I'm just do echo this key into our authorize_keys. I believe I spelled that right. So we're just going to copy this. Or I'm just going to control V this. So now we can cat our authorized keys, and now we do have that, right? So looking at this, I'm going to do ls-la. We're going to do a chmod. We'll do 600 on authorize_keys. And we do have that right now. So it's only read and write. From here, I'm actually going to go under my .ssh. I'm going to SSH into Bo at 10.0.0.12. We're going to do -i so we can use our id_rsa. And now if we do that, we do have a persistent SSH connection, right, using our key. So basically that's how I usually got this shell, right? Same shell we have here, right? So I'm just going to exit out of this. We don't need that shell. I'm actually going to cd into my VulnHub. We'll cd into Moee. We have nothing here, right? So actually not Moee. We're actually going to cd into our exploit binary. And under here we do have our exploit, right, to exploit our file, right? So under here we're actually going to be needing two files, right? So the file that this path right here that we have is we're going to be needing the libc.sos.6. So I'm just going to copy this. To transfer this to my file, I'm just going to use sftp. Since we already do have our public key on here, we don't need any password, right? So I'm just going to type in that right there. So now we do exit. We do have our libc, right, .so.6. And we're also going to need our rope it. So we actually do have a binary here. So if I do ls minus la, we do have our rope it, right? Let me just FTP back into this pwd. Yes, we can just get rope it. And we do have that right now, right? So I'm going to chmod plus x to make this into executable as rope it. Also do chmod plus x test.py, which I think is already exploitable, which it is already. So we have those two files there, right? Which is libc so.6, and we also have rope it, right? Okay, so for this to work, we actually need a socat. If you don't know what socat is, I'm actually going to show you guys how to install it. We're actually going to port forward socat on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for that to work, I'm going to go under my /dev /shn. I'm going to remove. Actually, let me go back to my terminal or my home. So I'm going to be removing this. I'm also going to remove -r socat, and we only have. Let me remove this to my apps. So we only have this right. Okay, so first we're gonna need to install socat. For this to work, I actually think I already do have this under my. I believe I have this under my downloads, I believe. Let me grab out socat. Yes, I already have this right here, right? So I'm gonna start a Python server so I can actually transfer this to the target machine. We'll start this on port 5555. So we'll do hwget into my IP address. So now we do have that right there, right? Yeah, so for this to work, we're actually going to need to tar this out. So I believe the command for that is actually tar, let's just copy this real quick. We can do tar xzf. You can press enter, and we do have a socat directory here, right? Let me actually spawn a tty shell real quick. So I don't have all our wraps, so I can't go back. So let me move my keyboard real quick. All right, so we have bash. So now I can tab, right? Yeah, so we do have a directory as socat. We're gonna cd into that. Once we do cd into that, we actually do want to do a / configure. We can press enter on that. And from here, we actually want to do make. From that to work, we actually want to do make install. We can just ignore that. From here, we do have socat on here, right? For socat to work, we actually do need to specify 2 addresses on the machine, right? So we're gonna actually specify a TCP so we can connect back to the target on this port. So let's clear this real quick. So we're gonna do socat. From here, we're actually gonna specify a TCP /listen. We're gonna listen on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for this to work, we want to do it needs to be specified as the same port, right? We're gonna do reuse ADDR. We're gonna fork this out into and execute rope it. From rope it, we want to do a pty. Let me close this out because I think it would be easier if we ran this under our notepad, or write this down on our notepad. So you can do ropit pty, do / or comma raw echo 0. We can run and. So we have socat, and we also have a TCP listen on our port. We can reuse the address, comma fork. We can execute our ropit pty raw and echo \0. Okay. All right. So before the binary exploitation starts, to even start exploiting, we actually do need to find that offset, and our goal is to try to get a segmentation fault, right? This can all be done through GDB, so we can just do GDB, and we actually want to run our ropit, right? So clicking, just typing in run, just to run the exploit. You see if we type in just anything, we do see that just X out the program normally, right? From here, we actually do want to get a segmentation fault. So here we want to do pattern create as 2000. So once we do create a pattern of 2000, let's try to run this and look at the RSP. Looking at the RSP, which was RSP right here, let's try to just copy this and do pattern offset. Or actually, let's do pattern offset. So here, you do see that we get a segmentation fault. And looking at the RSP, we just copy the RSP to pattern offset, and you see that we found an offset of 1032, right? So the first thing is make sure you do have your target port and IP, or the IP and also the port. So this is of course it's going to be different for you, but I'm running this on port 12345, and that's what we're going to port forward, right? And this should be the command that you're going to run, right? Make sure you do copy or remove socat under where the ropit is, right? So we're going to run socat, we're going to do TCP listen, we're going to port forward 12345. We're going to reuse address fork, and we're going to execute our ropit, right? Remember, you can't copy the ropit into like another directory, because this is only going to be ran by root under this directory, right? And we also want to get our fourth flag as root. We run pty raw and then echo equals 0. Before I actually did tell you to run and, because this is actually going to put this as a background. Just take that off, because I noticed I couldn't get a shell doing that. So we're just going to copy this. So if we do cd into, let me zoom in. So if we did cd into socat, if we do ls minus la socat, you do see that's being ran as bow. You can just copy the socat to your home directory under bow. Which I did have right there, right? So we're going to press just copy that, which should be ran this command right here. Make sure you do also put ropit, as it is spelled ropit right here. So I'm just going to copy this. We do have this running right now, listening. So once we do that, we do have our IP and our port. So we're going to do python 3 test.py. If I do id, we are under root now. So you see that we have our EU cd into root, cat flag 4.txt, and there is our flag, right? Right here, just this congratulations, and yeah, overall pretty good box. I rate this box about a hard. It took me a couple of days to do it. I remember I did do it actually like back then. Then I forgot how to do the box. I started doing other boxes. And also I will also be moving to try hack me, unless VulnHub does keep creating boxes, which I don't think they are, but I could be wrong. If they do, I'll go back to it. If not, then I'm just going to be sticking to try hack me, right? Well guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.